Kia ora, this program is brought to you by Wellington Access Radio. Wellington Access Radio, make your voice heard.
Hello and welcome along to the Capital Blues Roots and Boogie show on Wellington Access Radio, 783 AM on your radio and on podcast all over the internet. I'm Del Thomas, and for the next 30 minutes I'll be bringing you some of the very best in local, national and international blues, roots and boogie, starting off with this track from the wonderful Cain. Chris Cain there from the album King of the Blues, and a track called Whole Lot of Lovin'. And I was very fortunate to catch up with Chris during his time over in New Zealand. Caught up with him a couple of weeks ago when he was at the Grand in Courtney Place doing a concert with the Roger Fox Big Band. And I happen to have a recorder with me, so if you're at all interested, here's a conversation with the wonderful Chris Cain.
Right.
So here we are at the Grand, having just had a sound check with Chris Cain and Roy Phillips before they perform this evening, and I'm lucky to have Mr. Chris Cain all the way from sunny California with us, and I'm going to ask him a few very sensitive questions, and I'm going to put him right on the spot. So,
Right.
how are you enjoying Wellington anyway?
I love Wellington. It's like really a wonderful thing that's happened to me in my life coming here. It's like, going to the schools, and it's just a special place in my heart, really. Not just somewhere I come to play, you know what I mean? I know people here, and I love it, man.
It is a special place, to be honest. I mean, I've been here 21 years myself, and I call it home,
Yes.
despite the accent. So, for people who maybe haven't heard of you or are sort of vaguely aware of the name Chris Cain, tell us a bit about your background and your sort of musical upbringing.
Alrighty, well, my dad was a truck driver, a beautiful man. I was born in Alexandria, Louisiana, and he grew up on Beale Street, so he would always tell me about Beale Street and things, and he had the best records. He had the greatest record collection, man. He had the best hi-fi at the time. It was the loudest hi-fi, and
The best is always the loudest.
you bet, especially when you're a kid and you play guitar, So when I was like 8 years old, he taught me how to play the first thing I ever learned on the guitar, which was "Baby Please Don't Go" in the key of E. And he was a truck driver, but he had all these little arrangements that he made up. And I always now think it's amazing because he wasn't really a musician, but he loved it so much that he made his own little setup. And then on Sunday, he'd put his tie on and then get his guitar out in the garage and he'd play his set,
Yeah.
And so when I was 8 years old, he showed me "Baby Please Don't Go." And anytime the B.B. King came to San Jose, California, or Ray Charles, we always went. My brothers and I had two brothers older than myself, and we never missed them. And even when I was 9 years old, I knew B.B. King was great, and I knew it then. You know what I mean? But my father was the reason, and anything that my dad dug, then that's what I wanted to do. So I grew up in San Jose, and I just was lucky to have my mother and father, which were such sweet people, and I was turned on to all this music, and so I just started playing the guitar when I was 8, and I've been playing it now.
For a few years.
Yes, sir. You only want to do the math on that.
Yeah, probably best not to. So it was always the blues and jazz sort of style.
Yes, yeah. I mean, I was into the Beatles and things when I was really young, but my father had all this Muddy Waters, but Ray Charles and B.B. King were just like royal subjects in our house. I mean, those are the guys, and they came the most. You know what I mean? Ray Charles would come at least 2 times a year, and so would B.B. King. So, and we never miss him. So I mean, I saw him a bunch of times, not maybe a zillion, but I mean, I saw him through the '60s and the late '50s. Like I knew in the beginning that we were going to go out for pancakes afterwards, so I can't say I was really down with what would be, but I knew it wasn't going to turn into a good thing. But the records just were, I mean, there was no escape. And I was just lucky. I was really lucky to have parents like that. My mother took me to see the Beatles on like a school day.
Yeah.
And so I stayed home from school and went and saw the Beatles at the Cow Palace, you know what I mean? So my mom and dad were like sweet like that,
Hell, you're older than you look.
I know.
So being able to go to see that.
Oh man, I'm 60 this year.
Oh yeah.
Yes,
okay.
sir.
You don't look it. He says with a complimentary smile.
Thank you so much, you. Yeah, no,
Now, the interesting thing, I was listening to the other interview you'd done, presumably sometime last week, and I mean, I've always associated you with B.B. King, but you talked a lot about Albert King as well.
Oh my God! See, I was very lucky that way. He came to town, and I loved Albert King. I mean, when I heard Livewire Blues Power, it was like, at the same time in my life, I was discovering all these live records, live at the Regal, Blues is King, live at Cook County Jail.
They're all blues classics.
Donny Hathaway live, Donny, and all these live records, and I was like, man, there's something about these vibes on these records, right? Yeah. But Livewire Blues Power was one of the ones that just tore my head off. It was like, and then to go see Albert King at the Fillmore, my father took me to go see Albert King, Freddie King, and Mata Hoople, and he took me backstage to meet them, because they see like a black gentleman in a suit, they just would assume he was with the band, right? So he'd just be wherever he wanted to go, what I mean? Yeah. So he took me back to meet everybody and his cousin. It was, and when I met Albert King, it was like a mind trip because, I had his pictures on my wall and stuff, and I loved him so much, and to get to talk to him as a kid, I had no idea what I was even doing there, but
he's reputed to be such a grumpy old so-and-so as
and
well.
Believe me, in Memphis, they were like saying that, they'd never seen him be like this with anybody because he came to San Jose to play, and we were going to open up the show. So the guys at the club said, hey, this is a kid here. He wants to, and he let him play with you. And he's like, no. And I go, man, please don't make him mad because I love him. I don't want him pissed at me. Yeah. And so then we played a set, and he came in. I could smell the pipe smoke. He was standing right here. And he was like, and that, I sat in with him that night, and my parents were there and stuff, my mother and father, and he was so beautiful. He came after my ass, but I just loved it. So then I just turned up my thing, and I just, and then after that, every time I would go to Memphis, he would come to my gigs, and he'd bring people like Otis Clay and things, and he was just like a sweet friend in my life. And when he died, I couldn't listen to his records for about 2 years because I was so devastated by the fact that we got that close. And but
he'd be like a friend of the family, or almost part of the family.
He was just so, he was amazing, you know what I mean? And so it made all my trips to Memphis that much more special because he would always come, you know what I mean? And just, I pinch myself now that it happened. I look at the photographs and things, and I'm still shocked that, like, those things did happen because it was beautiful, you know what I mean? Your favorite guy, you know what I mean? Then you go to Memphis where you've not really been that many times, where he lives, and he's huge. Yeah. And then he'll come to your gig, you know what I mean? It's like...
it would almost sort of just it would be like when I saw you at the side of the stage last Saturday at Cuba Dupa, just before I was about to start. It would almost freak you out. I thought, oh, hell's bells. I've got to step up my mark here.
You guys were great. Thank you, though, for even,
No, it is true. When you actually, if you ever get the chance to meet people that you've admired, sometimes it's a letdown, but obviously in your case it's not.
No, really, it was just unbelievable thing that started in my life and the relationship we had. And every one of those days that we ever sat and talked on Beale Street is like etched in my soul, man. I can remember every word of it, and it was like, I just never took it lightly. The last times I saw him when he came to California, I knew something was up. And I think he was having little heart attacks and stuff he didn't even know he was having. And he was taking Digel and things, but he thought it was indigestion. But when he passed away, it was devastating for me.
Yeah, it would be. Yeah. We'll take a short break here and we'll play a track from Chris's latest album called King of the Blues. And we'll come back with another couple of questions for Chris Cain.
She's a real heartbreaker, don't you know? Well, a real heartbreaker, don't you know? She's a real heartbreaker, mean man hater. She's a real heartbreaker, don't you know? Well, she holds my hand, I get warm inside. Something happens that I can't describe. She never talks serious about love or romance. She She's the kind of babe that won't give your heart a chance. Real heartbreaker, don't you know? She's a real heartbreaker, don't you know? She's a real heartbreaker, a mean man hater, a real heartbreaker, don't you know? No one man ever enters her mind. She loved to flirt with maybe 8 or 9. She made up her mind, man, to really live. She's gonna go out and live for real. She's a real heartbreaker, don't you know? She's a real heartbreaker, don't you know? She's a real heartbreaker, a mean man hater, a real heartbreaker, don't you know?
Right, we're back now. That was a track from King of the Blues by Chris Cain and the Roger Fox Band. A really great album. I got a copy of that when you were last here last October, and it's been on regular rotation in the car. I have to say, it's brilliant.
I am so proud to be on that thing. I mean, I've made records in my life, but the fact that I got to play with this band and play those tunes and put some of my tunes on there and just hear myself play with that band, you know what I mean? It brought tears to my eyes. The other day I was in a car and the songs came on and it was like I was listening to somebody else. I mean, I'm so proud to even be affiliated with them, you know what I mean? And the music on there that they played, the way they made those tunes sound.
It's a remarkable album. I mean, you say it brings tears to your eyes listening to it. I mean, I feel the same with some of listening to B.B. King's songs. You know, just the tone that he gets, and you know, just intonation of his voice sometimes.
Oh man!
And I have to say that your album does the same.
Oh, thank you, Bill. I mean, you know.
And I don't say that lightly.
I know, and I really appreciate you even thinking that. I mean, when we recorded those tunes, it was like a 3-day period of after playing dates here at the Grand and stuff, and went into the studio and the band played so beautiful. And as it was happening, I was just pinching myself because I couldn't believe this music. It was like, I was like I was going to be part of this thing. I mean, the way they were playing these tunes and things, man. I mean, and then when it came out, I said I got to get like a Discman or something so I can listen to it at the room. So I went to this place. I think it was Noel Leeming's or something over here. Do a commercial for him, but and I bought this like. CD player, and I listened to it in my room, and man, I cried through the whole thing. I was so blown out by the way they were playing, and that I was part of that thing. You know what I mean? And to this day, I pinch myself about that because it's. I think it's one of the proudest things. I mean, if my parents were alive right now, I would be so thrilled. I think they would like it. You know?
I'm sure they would. I'm sure anybody who is at all, even vaguely interested in blues and jazzy blues sort of styles of music would enjoy that album. There's not one bad track on it, I have to say.
Thank you, sir.
So I would highly recommend that anybody listening go out and grab a copy of that whenever you can, if you get the chance. So you're over here. This is about, what's it, the 4th time you've been over in New Zealand?
Jeez, I think it might even be more than that because because I came the first times with the World Blues Review. I think the first time was I can't remember who all was in it, but then the second time was Duke Robillard and Charlie Musselwhite and a bunch of guys, and those are like the first times. And then I started coming on my own and doing things with Roger's band, I guess, and I've done those maybe about 4 times.
How did you hook up with Roger?
Well, this is like a present that just dropped into my lap because I was playing with Robin Ford and his brother Patrick had a Blue Rocket review where everybody on that label was like a little review, and we're doing these dates. And I guess Roger and Kevin Downing were like in San Francisco at the time, and they came in the night we were playing, and they said, "Who's that guy?" And so I went there with them once, and then I started coming on my own, you know. And he's been like, really amazing in my life. Just, like he's been doing this for like a zillion years, changing guys' lives, you know, mentoring people and things, you know what I mean? But somehow they drop right into my lap, and I start coming here, and I have so much love for him, and just the fact that he's taken this much time with me to do things here, you know, in this country, because I've met more beautiful people and done more things that have just been etched in my soul. Like some of the things that I'll never forget in my life. It wasn't just like a gig, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I made a lot of really nice friends, and I just feel blessed about all of that, you know, because it never had to happen, but you know.
Well, we're very glad that it has, because we want to see you back. When are you got any dates for coming back again?
No, but I'll come back just to clean. That's how much I love it, okay? I'll come back just to mop.
Oh, well, we will look forward. I'll bring the broom with me.
Thank you, sir.
It's been a pleasure to speak to you, and I'm looking forward to tonight's gig and also tomorrow at the Hotel Bristol with a different band altogether.
Wonderful, thanks.
And that'll maybe be a slightly looser affair, but just as enjoyable.
Thank you, brother.
So, thanks very much for your time, Chris, and it's been a pleasure speaking to you.
Thank you very much, Phil. Really appreciate it.
Now let's get back on a bluesy kick. Here's a brand new one by Albert King as he does Bad Luck Blues.
Got me walking, I'm walking from door to door. You got me walking, darling, I'm walking from door to door. Took all my money and left
me. Oh, how I hate to see you go. This lonesome in my bedroom, just me and my telephone. In my bedroom, darling, just me and my telephone. I have no one to love. I wish my baby would come on home. It's a dance. That my baby was coming home. Yeah, I received a letter this morning that my baby was coming home. Though I'll be so glad, I'm tired of being all alone.
Albert King there, and a track called Bad Luck Blues, one of Chris Cain's personal favourites and a mentor of his when he was younger. A lucky guy. I hope you enjoyed Chris's interview, and that actually almost brings us right out of time on today's programme. I hope you've enjoyed the interview with Chris and a few pieces of music from his album and such like. And if you did enjoy it, there's similar sort of music going on every Thursday night at the Hotel Bristol in Cuba Mall, Wellington's home of the blues. And yeah, thanks very much for listening. I'm going to play out tonight with a track from Gary Clark Jr., the album The Story of Sonny Boy Slim, and this is a track called Shake. Thanks very much for listening. Good night and God bless. Good night.
That program was brought to you by Wellington Access Radio. Get your voice heard.